Welcome back to the Rogue Wave Podcast. I am thrilled to be joined by actress Yulai Klass. Yulia, how you
Hi
doing?
guys. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great that I didn't butcher your name. I butcher everyone's name. You go back to our back
Thanks so much
catalog.
for that.
I got everyone's name wrong, but yours, I think I did pretty good there.
Because you
So I
like
feel
me,
good.
that's why. Because I'm nice.
Yeah, that's it exactly right. I butcher Hassan's name every day, and he doesn't get the hint yet.
My
So
name is
Yeah.
easy.
so So Yulia, you have an impressive track record of films. You start opposite Bruce Willis, Steven Seagal, Jason Momoa, Danny Trejo, Bruce Davison in your latest film, which is The Captors. Talk to us about just your career in general and what it feels like to take the screen opposite, these action legends.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It always feels exciting, first of all, that you get to work with some of those legends, the ones that you listed earlier. And, you get to learn a lot of things from them. You get to absorb their knowledge, their expertise in acting world and show business in general. But yeah, it's always rewarding experience, to work
Yeah.
with experienced actors and some of like Bruce Davison, he's an amazing legend
Hmm.
and he's just a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
So obviously, whenever I get a chance to learn as much as I can, I absorb it and I learn it and I take the most out of it, out of this experience.
So Bruce Davison is in the new film, the Captors. That's your latest film. What's it? A lot of what I got to see in the trailer is it's him opposite you in like a video camera zoom. So it's almost very 2022 in the fact that everyone's on Zoom. Um, how was it? How did it feel to act? Opposite like someone on camera. Was it harder? Did it
Well,
challenge you and all or?
it's not like Zoom, because she basically barely has any power. She's using generator
Hmm.
to play a VHS that he left for her. So it's
Wow.
like old school type of
Yeah.
virtual interaction. But yeah, it's a creepy movie. Definitely, it's inspired by true events. It's about centers a woman who's sex trafficked into this country.
Hmm.
Um, and she's bought by a serial killer on a ship.
Okay.
Uh, it's not. We don't really show it, but we explain to the audience that's how she got here. And
Hmm.
so the serial killer buys her, and obviously, rapes her, and about to kill her, I guess, and like all the other girls. And then she escapes as a kid, and then she hides and lives in basically exists for 10 years by blocking all of her memories. She's poor, she
Hmm.
doesn't have means to live, and she's afraid of people in general, and
Hmm.
barely has any money. So all of a sudden she receives a letter from a lawyer that she never met, that tells her that she has an uncle apparently who just passed away, and he hired a private investigator,
Hmm.
to locate her, to let her know that she just inherited a house in Michigan, and
Okay.
the thing is she has to travel there within 3 days and to claim the estate. She doesn't have any money to travel. Now she has to find ways to do this, and then she gets there, and
Hmm.
that's where all the creepy stuff starts happening.
It
And
looked definitely creepy. I'm not gonna lie. It was definitely very, horror movie esque.
yeah.
Do you enjoy acting in horror films? Is that something that kind of like I know some actors and actresses they love it, or they actually go, you know what? I've never watched a horror movie in my entire life.
So I love horror movies in general, but this one in particularly, it's more psychological thriller horror. So there are a lot of horror elements in it for sure. Especially as the movie is escalating and going, moving toward the end, and there's so much of psychological elements in it, so much creepiness, and
Hmm.
a lot of it is of course is coming out from her being a victim of the sex trafficking, and all the because she was captive for so many years, in this house. It turns out later that she's being lured back into the same place from which she escaped years ago,
Oh
and she
wow.
didn't know that originally.
Yeah.
So now she has to relive all of these memories, and some of the things that she's going through, we don't know if this is now what happened before, and
Oh,
this
that's
is just
cool.
hallucinations, or it's actually someone is there and they're messing with her.
Wow.
So it's pretty intense, so you have to watch it. You can't miss. You have to start it from the beginning. You can't just like jump into that. But yeah, it's in my opinion, it's pretty intense and powerful story.
How did it feel for you as an actress to play such? There's so much there to work with, but that kind of stuff. I know I've listened to a lot of actors and they talk about it. Really, it hits them when they play traumatic characters like this. How did it feel for you in the
Sure.
intensity?
So one of the reasons why I was so drawn to this script
Hmm.
is because of the intensity of it and the fact that it's not your usual film where you shoot, scenes with another actor or actors, right?
Hmm.
So this is literally pretty much all scenes are carried by one character. It's on you,
Yeah.
and I have to do everything in my power to make sure that I deliver it with my emotions.
Hmm.
And the camera work is amazing. The DP, Dave Newbert, did a great job. The lighting is amazing. James Brass, like the director, he had to come up with all of those angles where
Yeah.
where he's going to be shooting. And, as the movie is escalating, we have this big transition in lighting there, and you can see when the hallucinations start and all this weird stuff starts happening, we
Yeah.
change the lighting. So for me as an actor, the more challenging, the more drawn I am to it,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
take us
excited
back to the
about it.
beginning. How did you get started in acting? And what was your big break?
So I started as most kids start, in
Hmm.
their houses. You sing, you dance, you you do all kinds of things, and then my sister, she's a few years older. She started putting together, like neighborhood plays, and
Hmm.
she elected herself as a casting director, I guess, or director of like all those plays. So she would be like, okay, you're going to play this role. You're going to play that role. And we were all little kids there,
Hmm.
and so I got to play a tree. I got to play like all kinds of things, very important background roles. And I never got like very important roles. Then, kindergarten, then, preschool, then the middle school. Every time there would be some, artistic performances involved, I'll be there,
Hmm.
I'll be participating. And so that's where my love for acting and singing developed. And then as I grew older, I started recording songs. Back in Uzbekistan, I had a record deal with a local recording studio there. My
Hmm.
songs were actually playing on the radio.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
like, hey, but I want to be in movies. I want to do this. And so when I came to
Wait, I
America,
gotta interrupt you. I gotta interrupt you because as a career musician, one of the dreams is to hear your songs on the radio. How did that feel?
it felt great. I was super young, but my father never wanted me to be in it, so I had to
Okay.
kind of, not kind of stop it for a second there. So that's why when I came to America, I was like, I have freedom now to do a lot of things. And then I got drawn to acting so much,
Okay.
and I started working as a background actor in a few projects just to kind of get a vibe, because people gave me
Hmm.
advice. They said, if you really, really want to understand, this business,
Hmm.
before you jump all in it and you start looking for an agent and all of this, why don't you connect with a few background agencies and you do a couple of background roles? So that's how
Hmm.
I started. I've
Okay.
done featured background extras. I just was like there on the set, absorbing everything and
Hmm.
watching, everybody working, how the director works. It was fascinating to me because some of them were big productions, and it's like, wow, that's fascinating. So then you get an agent, then you start going to auditions,
Hmm.
and then you meet directors, you start networking, and
Hmm.
a lot of this right now, it's through social media, we get to meet so many people. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So some of the jobs, I just got on my own. I write. I'm very participatory. So whatever comes my way, I try to explore it further. And from little roles to slightly bigger roles. Then I started exploring myself as a producer. So I started helping on the set and helped co-produce Sugar Mountain, and that's
Hmm.
how it went further and further. And then, I was working with Richard Gray, and he's like, once we finish Sugar Mountain, we have to, since we're in Alaska, we have to shoot this Cold War there. So we
Hmm.
prepared for a while. That was a short film with Robert Patrick,
Yep.
and it's basically it's a preparation for our feature film. We created it, that is still in works, but we went through so many film festivals with Cold War,
Hmm.
got a lot of positive attention. And that's how it basically starts. One thing leads to another, and then you get like to see a little bit bigger roles, a little bit bigger scripts. Of course, I haven't made it yet. I'm still working on getting further and further in my career, but it's all good.
Well, you've definitely made it a lot further than I think a lot of folks can say, right? I mean, that's gotta count for something.
Yeah, I'm not discrediting anything I have achieved, but I'm saying, as human beings, we evolve all the time, and
Absolutely.
by no means I consider myself, up there in any
Yeah.
shape or form. So I'm definitely working hard to get better as an actor, and one day I'm dreaming of being a director. I have several stories in mind and several screenplays I'm working on right now. So hopefully one day.
You're hungry. You're still hungry. That's good.
I'm hungry. Always.
That's fantastic. No, I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
So out of the folks that you've been on screen with, what did you learn exactly? Like Jason Momoa, you were in a film called Sugar Mountain movie, Sugar Mountain with him.
That's the one that I co-produced. Yep. I'm in it too. And Jason was there only for like 3-4 days in Alaska, and that was before Aquaman, before his big.
I was just about to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like this very tall, muscled guy,
Yeah.
comes in. Everybody's like, "Oh, Jason Momoa is here. This is so awesome." So I was really happy to meet him because he's just like amazing person, amazing actor. And, his facial expressions, everything about him is just fascinating. And so he ended up being like the sweetest guy on the planet. He was nice and kind to every single person on the set. Then, we were every Saturday and Friday, our director and the crew, we would be like in local bars in Seward, watching our dailies that were shot throughout the week, footage, doing the footage with locals. He was sharing the footage with locals. And one of the weekends, Jason was there with his people, and he was just fun. He was dancing with us. He was, like having fun. It was, you would never even think that we were in Alaska Seward, based on the environment that was inside of the bar. We had a live DJ, everything was fun. But
That's
of course,
amazing.
you get to watch them act, when the scenes are being shot, and you're, in the Sugar Mountain, you can see Jason in a little bit different, from a different perspective. Like he's he's playing a little bit different role from other roles that he's ever played.
Carrie Yules is in that as well too.
Yes, Gary Ellis.
I mean, that's. Yeah. I mean, that takes me back to Princess Bride. That's the first. I mean, I was going to ask, are you a big fan of his as well?
Actor. He's great. Yeah. Carrie's an amazing actor, a very friendly guy. He did a great job, with his role. And of course, I observe everybody. Like I said, I watch people. Like I always pay attention to how they interact with the crew and cast. And some people, sometimes you work with some people and you've seen some people on the set where they're so snobby because they think that they're so big. But so far I've been fortunate and lucky to only interact and work with really, really nice people. I was blessed in that department.
It's amazing. You mentioned you want to direct at some point, but what is some more what kind of genres would you like to be in now? Obviously, Captors
completely different from anything I've ever done. The only thing that I've done similar is the Cold War short, and this is a prelude to a feature film screenplay. Not the one that I will be directing, but it will be something in that genre, World War II, Cold War era. Okay. I just like that era, and I want to tell more stories about the World War II for sure.
Okay, so are you a history fan, or just that particular area?
That I'm not a big history buff by no means, but I am very interested in the World War II specific period, because both of my grandparents on both sides, actually, my mom's and my dad's, they all were in the war, and my grandfather was injured 3 times, and I heard a lot of stories from my grandmothers, like I heard so many things that, I want to tell some of those stories.
Amazing. We talked off air about this. I thought it was a very controversial, but I agree with you statement. Universal Studios over Disney World.
Yes, that's my choice. Even though I do like Disney World, Disneyland.
Who doesn't like Disney World? But Universal, I went to both, and I got to tell you, I agree with you 100%. I got 100%. Universal Studios, Or
Hey.
Universal was much more enjoyable for some reason.
Yeah, in Florida, for example, I like Islands of Adventures,
Hmm.
because they're kind of merged. The two
Yeah.
parks are merged, and if
Now I
you want
haven't been to
to,
the yes, yeah, I haven't been to Star Wars Adventures yet. I heard that's a fun,
I haven't been there yet. No, I
all
haven't.
right. Maybe that'll
But
collectively change our minds. Maybe now we'll lean and say, all right, yeah, maybe Disney gets the nod now because it has the Star Wars.
yeah, but it's like going to these theme parks in general for me and for
Yeah,
a lot of people. Why do we love it so much? Is because when we get there, we feel like we're kids again, and
yeah,
it's just a different, like it takes our mind away from the horrible realities sometimes, or boring day, or just everyday life.
hmm,
And it's like movies. When we watch movies, why do we like movies? Why do we
yeah,
like certain genres? Is because it takes our mind away from what we're doing right now, right?
yep,
So I guess we are all kids a little bit inside, and we're all dreamers, right? And that's why
yep.
we like that stuff.
That's amazing. So tell folks where they can consume Captors,
So
and yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so Captors are the Captors movies available on all major VOD platforms.
Hmm.
Apple, Amazon, Hulu, YouTube, etc. And then you can always get the information, or if you want to look at some behind the scenes pictures, you can go to captorsmovie.com, and you can always check out our photos there, some
Very cool.
videos.
And where can people find you?
You can find me in the mall. You can find. I'm just kidding. um, you can find me at official Yulia Klass on Instagram and Twitter.
Absolutely amazing. Yulia, it's been an absolute delight having you. Go check out Captors movie. And next time you have something going on, we'd love to have you back on as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
This has been Rogue Wave. When we come back, we'll put a bow on tonight's episode. Welcome back to the Rogue Wave Podcast. I want to thank Yulai Klass for joining us. I had a great interview with her, so that was a lot of fun. And thank you to Hassan, and thank you to Aaron for managing to cover your ears and eyes and not get spoiler things.
We ruined it for her, but
Spoiler for her potentially.
she knew the job was dangerous when she took it.
Real quick before we cut out of here, Umbrella Academy or Stranger Things 4?
Both.
I'm
not a binary
Umbrella
person.
Academy was my favorite.
I don't do binary.
I finished that up. And you know what? I had the choice, and I was running the risk of not completing Stranger Things 4 before the episode, but I had to finish Umbrella Academy. That's how much I enjoyed that show.
I enjoyed both of them. We've got full content.
I know.
We've got a lot of things going. I don't know why people are like, which one do you think was your best one? Like, F you. I like them all.
I go Umbrella Academy. I'm actually going to start rereading the comics now too, because
enough.
I'm definitely I'm intrigued.
Very different.
Enough.
Very different experience.
All right. I'm excited. I'll let you know all about that. Next week, we've got Thor, Love and Thunder. Is this the first Marvel misstep? Because I've seen some reviews. Some people love it. Some people not so much. It's going to be very interesting. We will dive into Thor, Love and Thunder. We've also got the next edition of Seal of Fire coming up next week. And I'm sure some sort of news that we can react to. We will see you guys next week. Hi guys, Mike Dolce here from the Rogue Wave Podcast. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps us out. Leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see in future episodes, and tune in every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern for a brand new episode of the Rogue Wave Podcast.